How does it feel these days? You know, you have something that you're ready to put out there, but, you know, what are you guys feeling these days once this is over and you have time?
Well, we're in that really weird phase, yeah, like you say, when you finished an album and before it's released, and you just can't wait to get it out there, and you know, for people to hear it. We've had very limited feedback so far from journalists who have heard it, and it's been all very positive, but you want the general public to get it.
You can't trust journalists.
Do you still get sort of jittery, or, you know, after all these years, or is it still the same, or does it change, that feeling?
Before a tour, I think probably that sort of anticipation more really of, like, you know, performing for the first few times, like, it's always a bit nerve-wracking, to be honest, but you know, we've done it a lot before, so it's, you know, you have to keep reminding yourself that it's, you know, it does all come back to you, you know, but you know, when you perform live, there's things that you can't correct, and, you know, you get one shot at it, so it's a little bit different than what we just experienced in the studio, where we get to, you know, kind of build something, you know, almost from the demo stage, from when, like, Martin starts writing and I start writing from nothing really, and that's an amazing process that I'm actually enjoying more than I ever have. So that's cool. I think that making this album was fun to make, actually. You know, we had a lot of fun together, sort of doing it, and it just so happened, you know, the team that we had together as well, just everything clicked really well. You know, there was a great sense of humour throughout making the record, and that always helps. And also very productive. You know, it was, you know, everybody that was there was putting their all into making the record.
Yeah, because looking at some of the clips from the work in the studio, it seems like you guys had a lot of fun still doing this. Is that true, or do you still have?
We laugh a lot.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
some people think Depeche Mode, our music is dark, that we're dark as people, but actually we've got hopefully we've got a pretty good sense of humour, and I think we show that with some of those clips and what happens in the studio.
You're also working with a lot of gear from almost, I guess, dated back to when you guys started. What sort of an idea is behind that, and how's that to work with some of that stuff?
Well, yeah, some of that stuff was made before we even started, a lot of it. Yeah,
Someone's older than us. Something's older than us.
Some things, believe it or not, are older than us. But yeah, it was good to use a lot of that old stuff again, and yeah, obviously we use it in conjunction with some modern technology, but I think it, you know, helped to shape the record, and, you know, I think it's a very interesting blend of sounds.
I read somewhere that you guys bought it on eBay or something like that. Is that how does
that's smart.
what is it with you and that?
It's a bit of an addiction. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there identifying with me at the moment. Yeah, once you get into it, it's you know, you sort of like start looking every day, or you feel a bit of withdrawal.
But have you guys been around for that long? So you've come to a point where you're looking back to when you started, getting inspiration from the stuff you did in the beginning, or how?
It's not so much like that. It's not. I don't think so much like musically, like even the songs or stuff like that, because you hope that, you know, and I know, you know, that evolves, you know, as life goes on. You know, different life experiences go into the work. But instrumentation-wise, yeah, we're always exploring, like, new ideas and new ways to sort of get the right sound to work with whatever it is we're trying to create around the song. And it just so happened, yeah, Mark, you know, got this newfound fetish to buy stuff on eBay, and, you know, these pieces of equipment would show up, and you know, some pretty cool old vintage guitars as well, which we'd pull out, and you know, you try and find the right sound to suit the part, which is going to sometimes trigger the whole atmosphere of the song. And I think we've been working like that for many years. It's just that, you know, different people come into that production with their influences, and, you know, yeah, hopefully we're still exploring, you know, trying to find that right sound.
Which is the weirdest experiment you guys did in the studio? Maybe even something we haven't heard or are going to hear. Which is the weirdest thing you've done?
Oh, I don't know.
On this record, well, there's a lot of stuff, you know, I guess, you know, breaking things, tearing things, blowing into things, Just, you know, you're surrounded by this stuff, to be quite honest, and technology enables you to manipulate it and use it. We have been doing that for a long time, but now it's so far advanced that it's become quite a lot easier to do. But I think the search for us is still to find that interesting way of doing it. You know, and it's part of the process too, of actually sort of doing those things. It's kind of creates, you know, the unknown when you're making the record. You know, you're not quite sure how that sound from where it begins is going to end up. You know, normally quite different from where it started.
Well, you sang in that box. You remember that little box?
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually.
And it sounded exactly the same as you outside the box.
I was like singing into this box. I was like, listen to this, it's so cool. And then when I always went, listen to this, it's so cool. I had exactly the same voice, but yeah, it's looking for stuff like that when you sort of hear something and then if you actually find something that suits it, it's pretty cool when it happens.
Anyways, as I said before, you know, we're from Denmark, and I'd like to know, because I know people in Denmark feel that they have sort of, a lot of people in Denmark, of course, love your music. What's your connection with Danish fans and the Danish crowd? Is there something special there?
Well, we've actually, recorded some material at Puck Studios in Randers, in Aarhus, and, we did quite a lot there, you know, so I suppose in that way we made some videos as well. We have some connection with Denmark. But, you know, Denmark was one of the places we first visited after the UK early in our career, and we've always got a really good reception there.
Yeah, because you recorded, I mean, as I talked to the guy at the studio, and of course we talked about the albums. It was a real breakthrough for you guys.
Is it still the same guy who runs the place?
Is it? Well, he says hello. No, but anyways, he told me how when you guys first came there, you know, you could just go down out in town, no problem. Then when you came back for the second album, did your lives change while you were in Denmark, or how?
I don't remember between those two records. No,
I think we just didn't go out during the making of the second record because we got a bit bored with going out in Randers.
You'd have to get in a car, so it was either me or Al that was driving as well, so that would mean one of us had to not really drink as well, so it was driving, you know, in this car. It was the really only means that we had to go to any kind of, I mean, you've been out to the studio, so, you know it's out in the middle of nowhere.
But did that leave you with a special impression of Denmark, or was it just, you know, another studio in somewhere in the world, or how do you feel about it today?
Well, we've done a lot of recording in different places, and I think it's in different countries. I think it's one of the reasons why we're so popular in Europe, because people like the fact. And I remember our popularity in Denmark did go soaring, I think, when we did record and actually made an effort to go and record in Denmark. So I think it helps.
So the question would be, would you guys ever come back, do you think?
There's always that possibility. I mean, to be honest, I think it does have an influence on what you do, on some ways, the place that you stay. And as Fletch said, you know, we've always kind of, I think in the beginning we probably travelled outside of England a lot to record because it was probably a bit cheaper. And, you know, that was probably one of the reasons that we first went out. But also it always became quite an adventure. You know, and we were younger and you had less responsibilities, so it was more of a sort of gang mentality. And, I think enabled us to experience things that we probably would never have, in the little town that we all grew up in.
Being chased by balls in Randers in a farm. We don't get those experiences normally in life. So,
not in Basildon, we're a different kind of balls.
As you said, life changes. You guys are growing older as well. The band is turning 30 pretty soon. When you're 30, you're getting to be a real adult. How do you guys feel the change? You know,
still working on that. It's been a long time. When you actually talk about it like that, it's a long time. It's 3 decades. It's a huge amount of life in there. But I think we've. So far, touch wood, we've remained, a band that is constantly trying to improve on themselves, together as musicians and, in our performances live and, in every aspect of what we do. It's always been about the quality of what we do. I think it's got a lot to do with why we're still around. You know, we're very much still involved in every aspect of what we do, from every piece of artwork to, you know, every photograph that's taken. We painstakingly go through it all.
I read somewhere that you said that it had